The bye week is over. Michigan is a week away. And so far, I think USC stars, their leaders, they've done their job so far. But MVP3, Marvin Powell, myself, we're going to talk about who needs to step up. Who's going to be the next player to help this team get over the hump? It's coming up on this episode of Locked On USC.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Culkin, and thanks for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, you can pick any platform out there. You can download this podcast. It's always going to be free, and the show is always going to appreciate your support. And this episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward, Mazda Move and Be Moved. All right, so this is a Saturday bonus show. We got MVP3, Marvin Powell. He's back again for another episode. Thank you, Marvin.
Listen, happy to be here.
The fans want you here. So when they ask, I deliver. Just keep doing a great bang-up job. And regardless of what we say, this is how we feel about it. You feel differently? Let us know. Hit us up in the comment section. So this is the last day of the bye week, Marvin. On Sunday, the team actually starts. They get into game week prep for Michigan. So their week actually starts on Sunday. So I'm assuming today, while you and I were watching some college football, those guys are getting the day off as well. But if they're watching film, they're watching the Michigan game because that's their next opponent. And we're going to talk about Michigan, Wisconsin in the final segment. And in the second segment, you and I were kind of looking at our crystal ball and look ahead. So let's talk about a couple things here first before we get to that. I call you the MVP. Who would you suggest is the offensive MVP so far through 5 games? It's nearly the halfway season. Makai Lemon, obviously, Jaden Mayava, Waymon Jordan. Do the tight ends get a look? And here's the thing: how much love does Tobias Raymond deserve? Who would you keep the offense's MVP?
Yeah, it's not even a question. In college football, if you don't have an all-star stud playing quarterback, then you're usually not going to be relevant. And when you look at the job that Lincoln Riley has done with Jaden Mayava, again, you understand why they call him the quarterback whisperer. You understand why top quarterbacks come to play for him. You understand the resume, all the Heismans he has and the number 1 overall draft picks. Jaden Mayava came here as a raw athlete. Granted, he was freshman of the year at UNLV. He was a raw athlete. And in a year and a half or so, or however long Lincoln had him there, he's transformed this kid into now the number 1 rated quarterback in the nation. He is a leader on many people's Heisman boards. And listen, that's not this is not people just talking. This is the real deal. If you've watched him play, he looks smooth. He looks confident. He's making every single throw. He scrambles with confidence and with authority. This decision making, he's throwing the ball away. You know what I mean? He's not taking the sacks. This kid is playing this cerebral game. Lincoln Riley is showing you as a quarterback whisperer why he is who they say he is. And he's the best quarterbacks coach in college football. And without question, Jaden Mayava is the MVP of the offense. And he's the biggest surprise because we didn't know what we were going to get. We didn't know what we were going to get. Again, a lot of people, even Lincoln, praised Jaden, how he played last year toward the end of the season. And he went 3-1. But the reality is every time he go back to throw the ball, I would cringe. I didn't know what I was going to get. Now you get a polished passer who is accurate, and he's doing a great job with his leadership. I see emotional intelligence. I see confidence. I see a different kid. Lincoln Riley has coached this kid entirely, physically, mentally, and he's without question the biggest surprise and the best player on offense right now.
Yeah, what he showed me, and this was so impressive because it showed that he didn't allow that interception to get the best of him. Yeah, he threw the interception, first one of the year. And yes, the next offensive series, the offense had a 3-and-out. But after that, I don't know, something just like he said, all right, you know what? This is still our game. I'm still the guy. He was 15 for 17, 100, almost 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He took control and he put the team in a position to win the game. Not something I don't know that we would have gotten from him last year after he made a crucial mistake. Right. He showed me, and you were talking about it, he showed me that he can bounce back from making a mistake and actually get better as the game goes along. So for me, that was it. I have confidence in him now that he can take the team to that next level. And the reason you're giving it to him and not to Mekhi Lemon is because Mekhi Lemon doesn't get all those yards without Jay the ball. So I hear you.
Yeah, and again, this is it's USC. History says we have great quarterbacks, great receivers, and Mekhi Lemon is definitely on that list. But Jada Maava right now is playing on a different level. And when you talk about how he responds to the interception, that's his emotional intelligence. That's his growth. That's year 2, Jada Maava. There's a big difference with players between the first year you start and the second year you start. Tremendous difference. For most players, if you haven't started before and you're going into a season where you're going to be a starter, you're nervous on a different level. But after that off season and you started a few games going into the next season, your confidence is through the roof, and you're seeing it with Britain right now.
No, absolutely. And like I said, I threw out a few other names just because you have, can't be a one-horse competition.
Yeah. Well, no, but listen, if I'll be honest with you, I would say Mekhi Lemon because going into the season, listen, I still believe that we have the 2 best receivers in the nation without question. Jacoby's amazing. We missed in the last really 2 games.
Well, that's my point. Yeah, it's what Mekhi's done without the assistance of Jacoby being out there.
Right.
It doesn't matter. He can still get open and give you 11 catches for 100 and something yards every game.
Yeah.
And to me, that's impressive.
Yeah, he's already added his name to the list of great USC receivers. When you look at his productivity, especially considering last year he wasn't our featured guy the whole season. He didn't go into the season the number 1 guy, but he showed you so many flashes, And then this year he's just man on fire. But the problem is he's playing with the number 1 rated quarterback in the nation. So in those situations where you have 2 high rated guys, you're going to get that. And with Lincoln Riley's recruiting class, the way they're coming in, we're going to continue to have that problem. But it's a good problem. And those are the good problems that you want to have.
It's almost like Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush light. You have Jaden Maava and you have Mekhi Lemon. Neither one of them have, we know that Matt and Reggie went on to win the Heisman. I don't know if you'll get that from this backfield, but you have that type of skill, that kind of talent that you can rely upon.
And then when you talk about, again, offense surprises, we got to say Waymon Jordan because, again, we knew we were getting the number 1 JUCO back, but what does that really mean? Ratings don't really mean a lot, at different levels, in my opinion, okay? If he was the number 1, running back in the portal, that'd be a different situation. But coming out of JUCO, we didn't know we were getting. Granted, a couple fumbles. This kid looks good. Lincoln has another one, right? So he's been a great surprise as well as Eli.
You're right. No, he just has to get that ball security down because it's happened twice on the opening possession where he's dropped the ball, and it kind of you can survive that at home when you're playing against a Missouri State or a Georgia Southern. You can't do it on the road against quality opponents. It'll come back every time.
And when you're talking about, Mekhi Lemon and you're talking about Jada Maava and you're talking about Waymon Jordan, for these skill players to be, being highlighted and having great seasons, you got to talk about the O-line, which you mentioned, Tobias, again, quietly, USC's offensive line's playing pretty well in spite of some injuries. But yeah, Raymond also is a player to look out for when you look at great surprises on the offense.
Yeah, and look, Tobias Raymond, we know he can play guard. We know he can play tackle. He's been that solid piece all season long.
Yeah.
And then the other solid piece, and then we'll just, because we have to talk about the defense real quick before we transition to the second segment, is I love how Coach Riley has, found his tight ends again, because that really does. When you can incorporate the tight ends with the passing game, You've got great wide receivers. You've got the running game also working. It really does make that offense almost impossible to stop, especially if USC isn't stopping themselves with penalties.
And what I love about Riley's tight ends is he didn't go ahead and just, get those receiving tight ends, the new H-back, big receiver. He got the Mark Bavaro guys, the guys who get dirty, who block, who come downhill, in the blocking scheme, who play ultimately fullback. If you look at some of the formations, he has those tight ends playing fullback in some of these plays. He got guys who are blue collar, who get low and go, but also who are athletic enough to go out there and win one-on-one matchups. These are special type of tight ends. These are special athletes that we have who are big and strong enough to be dominant in the run game, but also be nifty and athletic enough to be present in the passing game.
And I wrote about this in my article on wearesc.com that I published today, yay or nay. A bunch of credit has to go to USC's inside wide receiver and tight end coach, Chad Savage, because I can make the argument of the staff that's been hired in this past offseason, he's had the biggest impact so far.
You'd have to say that.
Yeah, you can see it with the way the wide receivers are blocking. We just got done talking about the tight ends. On the defensive side, same question. This is really a two-horse race. So, one was missing last week. He was sick. The other one played well, but didn't have his best game. So I think it's clear that both of them have to be on the field as much as possible. But who is the defensive MVP? Is it Eric Gentry or is it Kamari Ramsey?
And that's obviously the two I was thinking about. I was thinking about Bishop as well, just based on some of his numbers. I would probably have to go with Gentry, to be honest with you, just because he's played all the games. We missed Ramsey for one. Both of those guys, in my opinion, are having decent seasons. Kamari's being played at nickel, which might not be his true position, but he's a leader, he's a captain, he's an athlete, so he does what he can. But Gentry right now is playing at a high level, without question. He's playing at a high level. I think he's making plays. He has impact. Jakeem Stewart, who's showed flashes, and I judge him differently because he's a freshman and he's so young. But Gentry is one of the bright spots, in that run game. I've seen him make plays. I've seen him play with a certain level of physicality. And right now, you would have to say he's our guy. He's our heart and soul in that front seven.
Oh, without a doubt. Like I said, if you had to pick one, I guess you give it to Gentry because he's played every game, and the stats will back it up also. But it does make you wonder: had Kamari been available, would USC's defense have gotten maybe one, maybe two stops?
Yeah, right.
So was that the difference in that game? I don't want to talk about that game anymore because it sucked.
Yeah. And if you had asked me prior to that game, I may have said Anthony Lucas, to be honest with you. I may have thrown his name out there, but again, our front four was absent last Saturday. So, they all took a big hit for me.
Yeah, they were definitely MIA, that's for sure. All right, in the next segment, I'm going to ask Marvin, who needs to step up? And we're going to look into our crystal ball and look ahead, see what's going to happen. That's coming up next. This episode is brought to you by Mazda's Moving the Game Forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move the culture, and they keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that played the game forward is literally, it is Jaden Mayava when he helped lead USC to their first lead of the game. There was 2 minutes left. First play after the 2 minute timeout, touchdown to Mekhi Leonard. And after he did that, after he threw his first interception of the season. And after, first interception, we talked about it earlier in the show, he struggled a little bit, but he bounced back. He was like 15 for 17, 164 yards, a couple of touchdown passes. Jaden Mayava moved USC and the game forward. And so even though USC ended up losing by 2 points, it was still what I would consider one of his best games in the country. One of the best games of his career, as also making him one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. It's almost the weekend, which means it is time to look back and crown this week's MVP, who delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like You can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving money every time you order. There's these players delivered when it mattered most. So I'm going to break it down. I just told you about Jaden Mayava. He definitely delivered. But one of his biggest benefactors, it's been Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver. And if it's not Mekhi Lemon, it's the tight end group. Against the Fighting Illini, Mekhi had 11 catches, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, and was literally a referee's whistle from a 3-touchdown game and over 200 yards of receiving. And the tight ends, like McCree, Walker Lyons, they combined for 7 catches, almost 100 yards. So just like Mekhi and the Titans delivered, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order. You can stack it up all season long. You can save up to $250, including up to $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day. Only with DoorDash. Terms apply. The promo period will end November 18th. All right, Marvin. Give me one player on each side of the ball that maybe is doing what they should, but maybe they can be doing a little bit more. Who needs to step up on the offensive side of the ball first?
You said on the offense?
Yeah, start on offense.
Without question, the general, Janari Reed, our big-time transfer portal center, needs to step up. Getting him in here was a big deal. He was a big name in the portal at that position. And when his number was called, I saw him miss some opportunities out there, and I saw him put us in a position that hurt us ultimately. It wasn't just him; wasn't the only one. This is a guy that has over 20 starts, over 20 starts in his resume. So I expect the guy nicknamed the General with that many starts to come in here and have a different level of impact. And last week, on the trick play, he had a penalty. I saw some high snaps, which messed with the timing of the quarterback. And I saw him lose some one-on-one battles that ultimately impacted the run game. I think this kid has a ceiling. I think this kid has a lot of football in him. But we need him to step up and have a much better game next against Michigan.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. We know that, because Coach Riley told us after practice earlier this week, Keelan O'Connor is going to miss at least the next 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes back, we don't know exactly when, but you are absolutely correct. You need Janari Reed to step up and seize the moment, because remember, when he came in through the transfer portal, he was the, projected starting center. Mm-hmm. And Keelan just outperformed him. He was more consistent throughout practice, and you saw it in the field. So you need to get that from Janari, without a doubt.
Well, listen, Keelan O'Connor, he comes from a football family, tough guy. He understands the culture of the game. He was a walk-on, and listen, college football, our history includes walk-ons. It's a great history, especially at USC. But when you have a scholarship player lose a position battle to a walk-on, that says something. To me, that does say something. So, he came in listed as a starter. I assumed he was to be the starter. As we got into week 1, he wasn't the starter. And then when I watched him play in this last game, I saw some things that were concerning. Fortunately, there's a lot of football left, and our O-line coach is going to have a chance to earn his money.
Absolutely. And, obviously we want to throw in the name Jacoby Lane, and we understand he's been injured. But when he is healthier, I don't know if you're ever 100% healthy when you get to this part of the season. When he is closer to 100%, he has to start taking some of the pressure off Mekhi. And I'm not saying that he hasn't been doing his job. Again, he's been hurt, but we need to see Jacoby Lane do Jacoby Lane things. So it's just not a High Lemon show.
At the end of the day, we went out there last week and hurt ourselves. I'll tell you like this. We have Jacoby Lane for a full game, first play of the game, and we make that defense defend the whole field with those 2 receivers. It's a different game altogether. Had he started that game, played the whole game, didn't have the injury or whatever he's going through, it's a whole other game. Not having him hurt us. It shouldn't have. Because the talent difference is great, in my opinion, but not having him hurt us tremendously.
Without a doubt. So I guess same question on defensive side of the ball. Who needs to step up? I mean, for me, this is the easiest answer. I'm going to give the defensive line the benefit of the doubt. Last week, they weren't feeling well, but I don't know. All of them got their butts full, period, straight up. None of them played up to their potential. For whatever the reason, Illinois took them behind the woodshed and put the belt to butt. All right.
Yeah.
We know Eric Gentry is carrying that linebacker room. We need Desmond Stevens to take that next step. He needs to start backing up all those words of praise that the coaching staff was talking about during the offseason. And I get it. He's inexperienced playing the middle linebacker spot. He's still learning it. But again, he played it last year. He's had the entire offseason now going into game 6. You need to see him take that next step. Otherwise, you got to start, looking at alternatives.
Right. Yeah. So when you look at the defensive side of the ball, who needs to step up? I'm going to break it up a little bit differently here.
Okay.
For me, it is the D line, specifically the guys in the middle, the one technique, the tackle knows. First 4 games, we were collapsing pockets. Now you could talk about the quality of the opponent, but it is what it is. We were collapsing pockets. We were pushing the center and the guards back. I didn't see that in Illinois at all. Our guys were getting stood up and pushed around. We need our guys in the middle, nose tackle and tackle, to be stronger in the middle. I mean, we do. We need more of a force on pass downs, and we need them to be stout on run downs. Outside of our bigs, our 2 guys on the D line in the middle, I need our all-star coaching staff, who we celebrated in the offseason, to step up. I do. I love these guys. I'm with them. I support them 1,000%. I believe in them. I do believe in them. But we need to see these guys in these next 2 weeks show us who they are. We do. We need to see them put together something for this defense that Michigan isn't ready for, because we put the money out. We got the players in, and I believe in our players. I mean, I'm not. Listen, we lost 1 game, and people are losing their minds. I'm not there. I still believe objectively that we can have a good season, and we're in the midst of a good season at this point, even coming off a horrible loss. With that said, I need our defensive coaches. I need Danton. I need Ryan. I need Belk. I need Henny. I need Nua. These big names who were celebrated to put together a game plan and get these guys coached up. Because it's a 2-part deal. It's the players are out there playing the game. Don't get me wrong, the players are one out there playing the game, but it comes down to leadership, And in this case, we're talking about defensive leadership. I believe in our defensive leadership, but I need them to show up this week.
Right. And I think the over obvious answer, and the reason why we're not bringing it up, the secondary, the cornerbacks need to step up. Period. Plain and simple. There's nothing else that needs to be said.
Right.
That position group has to step up. They have to find their confidence level. Whatever's missing, Stella needs to find her groove again. They got to find their mojo, because right now they're in between.
Yeah,
they're in between.
Listen, I heard Lincoln Riley today or yesterday talking about RJ Sermons, one of our freshmen who's been injured. He's getting healthy. And I've been hearing a lot of positive things about this kid. I know one of his personal coaches that helps train him. And I played with his dad, Rodney Sermons, at USC. Great player for the USC Trojans in the 90s. Yeah, outstanding running back, fullback threat. But RJ, what I'm hearing, has been looking good. Special athlete, different caliber athlete. Lincoln was really high on him in the interview process. You were part of that interview. Yep. And, it was going to be great to see him get out there and get some reps.
Here's the thing I like about RJ. That dude's got speed to burn.
Yeah.
People need to remember, he is a true freshman. He should still be playing high school football right now.
Mm-hmm.
He has that type of ability. So anticipate some freshman mistakes, but he can make, he's got those hips that he could turn and burn, and his speed can make up any type of mistake. So again, he just has to trust his abilities.
Right.
Know that he's more than capable of doing the job. But I hope nobody's anticipating him to put on the number 42 jersey and remind people of a young Ron Lott playing cornerback as a true freshman.
Right.
I don't know if he's there yet.
Yeah. We're talking about potential. But from what I've heard, and I'm talking about, I've spoken to guys that I know personally who have coached in the NFL, who have seen him play and seen him train, and they speak highly of this kid, and that's real. So I know he's listen, he's going to be the real deal. I believe that. Yeah, he'll be the real deal.
Absolutely. And you know what? Wouldn't be bad to have the son of a former Trojan make that number 42 look pretty impressive. People forget very few people are willing to wear that number because of the players who've worn it before them. Before Ronnie Lott, there was Ricky Bell.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about Trojans. When you say define a Trojan,
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Bell.
That's right.
Ronnie Lott.
Right.
RJ Sermons is the next one. Not a lot of people want to wear that jersey because of what it represents. And I know people who've worn it since in between, but you get my point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I would tell you this much: his father is a guy who understands the history, and without question, RJ knows the history of that number, and he's wearing that with pride, and he understands the standard. So he's somebody that Trojan fans in the years to come to look forward to.
Yeah, you know what? Next time you talk to Rodney, say, "Hey, you know what? Your jersey's been retired." He doesn't have to admit it was Reggie's, but whatever.
Right.
We have one more segment to go. Marvin and I, we're going to talk about the games this weekend of USC's future opponents. So, in fact, we both have a homework assignment this weekend because Michigan plays Wisconsin and USC plays Michigan the following week. That's coming up next. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. It doesn't matter whether you're running, whether you're lifting, cross-training. You can pick your favorite instructor. The machine will cover it for you. This is training reimagined because Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, help you stay motivated, and help you reach peak performance. The swivel screen is a game changer. You can literally go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training, and you're not going to miss a beat. And the personalized class recommendations keep you engaged. So depending on how you're feeling, you get your workouts tailored to your vibe and energy level each single week. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. That's ONE Peloton.com. All right, Marvin, this is one of those weekends where I don't have to work. I get to sit on the couch. I got a bowl of chips over here. I got my favorite adult beverage over here, and I can just immerse myself in college football. Next week, USC will be hosting the Michigan Wolverines. Yeah. This week, Michigan is hosting Wisconsin. I think we both agree that Michigan's going to win that game. Hopefully, well, if they don't.
Yeah, we agreed that USC was going to be Illinois too, but go ahead.
Right. How do you see Michigan coming out of this game against Wisconsin? Michigan doesn't have a great passing game, but they got a great running game. Right. What are you looking for in the Michigan-Wisconsin game?
Yeah. Michigan's having a problem with their receivers. They're just dropping the ball. I think they have 10 drops so far this year, and that's with a freshman quarterback. Listen, Michigan is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They find 1,000 ways to slice you up and run that ball. But their dynamic running backs and their quarterback. Michigan is going to pound the ball down the throat, play action, and hope their guys can catch the ball. I'm looking for Michigan, who is 4-1, to be excited about coming into the Coliseum 5-1. So this should be a physical game. Michigan should get ahead of them. They have a better roster, better caliber athletes, and this should be a win for them.
So I know we've already played both of these teams. We went 1-1 against Illinois and Purdue, but what does it say about last week's game? If Purdue was able to catch Illinois on a kind of in a trap game type of scenario, a letdown game, what does that say?
You know something? So let's back up a minute, okay? What does this say that that Indiana put all those points on Illinois? It says nothing because Illinois came out and beat our butt. Football games, it's like boxing. It's about styles,
Yep.
and last week means nothing. It means absolutely nothing, okay? And Vegas was trying to tell us that after the Indiana game, but we wasn't trying to listen to that, all right? Look, at the end of the day, I am expecting them to have a competitive game. But this is a week-to-week thing, man. And what happened last week means nothing. You got to prove it every single week. And whoever beat whoever last week means nothing because you got to beat them too. And you can't win the game on paper.
That's the rational explanation. But I guess I should remind you, USC fans don't think with common sense and rational thoughts at times. They're going to if Purdue pulls off the upset, I'm telling you, USC fans are going to be epileptic. They are just going to lose their ish.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't think Purdue has the athletes on offense to really do a lot to hurt a lot of people. They play hard, passionate environment, and all that stuff, but they don't have the dogs.
So UCLA probably missed their only chance at a win this season last week when they lost to Northwestern. This week, UCLA is hosting Penn State, the same Penn State that just got upset at home. I don't know if it was an upset, but they lost in a whiteout overtime game against Oregon. Penn State's flying all the way across the country to play a really bad UCLA team. Does that mean UCLA pulls off the upset?
I'm going to tell you something. At the end of the day, they got to play the game. And, while everybody's saying, UCLA has no chance, you got to play the game, guys. You got to play the game. These are kids. These are emotional kids. These are kids who are up and down, and your girlfriend broke up with you yesterday, and that stuff matters. It shouldn't matter, but it matters. These are young, I don't see Coach Franklin coming into LA taking a loss to those guys across the town. I just don't see it happening. I don't.
All right. No, look. Obviously, I don't know. I'm a couple years older than you, but I know I've never seen UCLA go over for a season. I think we really have a chance to see that happen this year.
Things we pray for, Mark. Things we pray for.
Although God does have a sense of humor. I don't want to see it happen, but I could see UCLA coming in 0-11 to that last game of the year, and somehow those gutty little Bruins.
Mark, they're going to play us tough. I'm telling y'all right now, USC fans, they can be 0-11. They're going to play us tough. Okay, it is what it is. Okay,
I cannot have a second 13-9 type of result in my lifetime. That's all I'm going to say. I lived through an 0-8 losing streak. I was there for 13-9. I cannot have that type of scenario pop up this year. Because I'll retire and I'll say, Marvin, the show's yours. I'm done. Can't do it. It'll kill me.
Forget UCLA, man. Let's just hope our DBs are working on their coverage skills this week. All right, let's get through this, right?
And last game, does Boise State have a chance at Notre Dame?
I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting heavy for them. Heavy. I'm getting my brom heavy. Okay. No. Listen, the reality is Notre Dame is a very good program. And
they're improving too.
Yeah, they're a very good program, and they have a good coach. And these guys, I think he has these guys fired up and inspired. Boise State is dealing with a wounded animal. They're dealing with a wounded animal, and I don't think this would be good for them.
I hear
no, they don't. No, they don't have a shot. They do not have a shot to beat Notre Dame. No.
I hear you loud and clear. Notre Dame has no margin for error anymore. They lost those first two tough games. Miami, A&M, they can't lose anymore. And once USC gets by Michigan, guess who they play next?
In
South Bend.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough for this episode. Marvin and I, we're going to be watching that Michigan game because we're going to be getting together again for Monday's episode of Locked on USC because it will officially be game week. We got to talk about what we saw, what USC is going to need to do if they want to make sure they get that win at home, improve to 5-1, hopefully get re-ranked, and go into South Bend with a little bit of momentum. So until that next episode, everyone, you know what to do. MVP 3, thanks again. We'll see you in a couple days. Until then, everyone, fight on.
Fight on.